As an AI agency owner, there are 4 factors to consider when picking the right market. You may be starting, you may be already established, and you may be considering the benefit of niching down. You may feel overwhelmed. You feel that more information is coming your way that you can handle, and you feel that it would be beneficial to do one thing and one thing only, especially since so many influential people in business talk about having a focus of one and an audience of one, in the sense of one target audience that you go after. In this video, we're going to explore the 4 factors that make a good market. What I've seen over the last years of talking to, having 2,000 calls with different agencies, some going to the market, some are established, I can truly say that I've seen a lot, and I have also seen a lot of people who have equally seen a lot. I've captured all of this, and I've put all of that into a knowledge base so that you can get the benefit of me doing this research at the very forefront of AI implementation. And so here are the 4 factors that make a market, and there are 2 more factors that I would like to add to that at the end of this video. So if you want to learn about those, please continue to watch all the way until the end. So first factor is the market in pain? This is, by the way, based on Alex Hormozi's framework for picking the right market, and I agree to that. I just had a slight modification for the AI agency or AI services, AI enhanced services market specifically. So the first one is pain. Is the audience in pain? Meaning, is there an existing psychological desire prevalent in the market? And the market basically meaning the audience of one. Who is the person that stands symbolically, rather, for all of the individuals that the market comprises of? And what's the psychological desire there? And then you may say, well, there's no psychological desire. I don't sell advertising. I don't sell marketing. I don't sell media. I'm not a YouTuber. I have something tangible. I have something real. Yes. Usually when we talk about desires, psychological desires specifically, it's either they want something that they don't have, or they don't want to have something that currently is experienced. And the experience of psychological deprivation, of the lack of something, or the existence of something that they feel they would love to get rid of, so basically also being in the state of lack of, I lack the experience of life that I would desire, that's called pain. And so we want to find a market that is truly in pain. Now, the good thing with that is we want to find a market that is already in pain. We do not want to evoke the pain. We want to find the pain. In the same way as you don't make people good, you find people good. You want to find the market that is already in pain. And usually people, okay, let's cover that at a later point. Second is purchasing power. Now, we also do want to find a market that we can sell to, that has actually the money to spend. It is honorable to talk to and sell to local electricians, local plumbers, students, job seekers, etc. On the other hand, it is not the recommended choice if you want to build a business on that. What you would do is go up market and then sell to them, sell to people who have the money first, and then go further down. You can always build charity or a low-priced, SaaS type product that you can roll out that has pretty little incremental cost for each new sign-up, but it requires first of all, the resources, and you need to obtain the resources somewhere. You don't make money, you take money, and you can only take the money from somebody who has it in the first place. Very hard to convince people otherwise. It's honorable, not recommended though. Third factor is, are they easy to target? And the addition that I would say to that point is, are they not only easy to target, but also easy to reach out to? I'll give you an example. Easy to target would be lawyers, attorneys, dentists, and generally speaking, ChatGPT or Claude for that matter, Gemini 2 gives you that as an example when you ask, what niche should I pick? You want to pick niches that have the money to spend. That's pretty self-understanding, self-explanatory. But the challenge with that is that they're not that easy to get through to. And oftentimes I've seen the correlation that the easier it is to find the lead, the harder it is to get through to them, meaning because everybody else can find them too. Scraping a list of leads with Apify, we could show you all about that, how that is done, of dentists, attorneys, real estate agents, etc. is very easy to obtain. Hence, they're also approached a lot. Hence, they're on a lot of lists that other people broker and sell. And so you don't really have a protection around this data and this outreach, because anyone in South America, in Asia, in Bangladesh, in India could scrape these leads and reach out to them. And that's not being derogatory in any way to any particular, location or ethnicity. I live in South America too, so I get it. All I'm saying is you put yourself in a position where you compete with a lot of people, where the barrier of entry is low, where even low-skilled people can enter and reach out to this market. So it's not necessarily recommended. Plus, oftentimes they have a gatekeeper of sorts because they are being reached out to so much. And so what would be better industries then? Well, for example, I consulted with a person recently who is approaching sprinkler installation and fire protection regulation service providers, right? So as in hospitality, for example, they have certain fire regulations, and so they need to get somebody to service and maintenance the fire extinguishers and sprinklers every day, every year. And so in the same way, commercial buildings in New York, we've seen sprinkler installation. For example, these are oftentimes six-figure contracts. Generally speaking, it's a great industry to go to. You oftentimes talk to the owner. They're making 10, 15 million per year, and you can still get through to the owner because they're six-figure contracts. And so if it's a six-figure contract with a commercial building, then you really only need 5, 6, 7 staff, 2 assistants, 2 vans with 2 people each, who work on these job sites, and you close 12, 6-figure contracts, and you're making, 2, 3 million per year. So that's possible, and that market would be easier to target. Now, the last point here on that sheet, and there are, as I said, 2 more that I would like to add to that, is the market growing? Are we in a market that is reclining, receding, or are we in a market that is growing? That's very important that we want to consider. Now, the other 2 factors is, what is the rate of adoption and what is the rate of disruption? The rate of adoption is basically how well is this market adopted. I talked to a young gentleman in Italy recently, and he was wanting to sell to and serve marketing agencies in particular. And there were a few crucial mistakes that he made in the beginning. One was being in the position that you wanted to approach American business owners online while being a young student without any meaningful work experience in Italy. It doesn't work very well. What you want to do is go local, meet people in person, and utilize that as a seed audience, and you can always go broader. But that's beside the point. The second error that I observed that he was about to make was that he went to a target audience that he tried to understand very well because he was projecting what he aspire to be, which is essentially a marketing agency, and trying to sell to marketing agents. But on the other hand, marketing agencies probably need you the least because they oftentimes can implement all of these solutions themselves, because as a digital service provider, they are very well aware and they're easy to adopt, which also leads me to the second point of that. What's the rate of disruption? Marketing agencies are already very much disrupted by AI. And so that does not necessarily need to mean a bad situation, but we want to be aware of that. You can play that to your advantage, but you need to be aware what's the rate of disruption, what's the rate of adoption currently, and then play into those. I hope that you enjoyed that video. If you did, write a comment and let us know what you would like us to cover in the next video.